The kettlebell swing. We're going to go through two versions of the kettlebell swing today. We're going to start with the Russian swing, and then we're going to go on to the American swing. We're also going to cover some common faults that we see with kettlebell swings. Points of performance. You're going to start with your feet at least shoulder width apart, toes turned out slightly. We're going to go ahead and pick the kettlebell up with a nice straight back, standing nice and tall to start. Now we want to generate power using the hips and not with the arms and shoulders. So it's really important that the arms remain loose and stay as straps the entire time. We're going to start just like a deadlift by initiating a movement with our hips, hinging over, and then using the glutes and the hamstrings to drive through, accelerating speed into the kettlebell. We're going to start with 5 Russian kettlebell swings. And rest. Notice speed and power generated through the hip. The faster we accelerate through the hip, the more speed we add to that kettlebell. Steven's doing a really good job at keeping his arms nice and relaxed and not forcing the kettlebell into extra range. We're going to go with 5 more. I'm going to talk through it as he goes. 5 more Russian swings. Hips fire through. He finishes with a nice straight body. Notice he's not bending the knees excessively. Shoulders are coming over. And rest. The next movement is the American kettlebell swing, which is often what we prescribe in conditioning pieces. The American kettlebell swing is exactly the same thing. We're just going to drive the hips harder and faster, bringing the kettlebell up and overhead. What we want to see at the top of the kettlebell swing is that the bottom of the kettlebell is facing up towards the sky. Steven's going to go ahead and show us 5 reps. Notice we have to control that kettlebell overhead to make sure it doesn't tip backwards and over us. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to identify 2 common faults we see with kettlebell swings. The first one being that we bend the knees too much and we finish more in a squat versus hinging at the hip and actually using the butt and the hamstrings to generate power. Steve's going to show us 5 of these reps. Notice squatting too much, which generates upward force to the kettlebell instead of horizontal force and power to the kettlebell. The next common fault we see is just bending the hips too early. It's really important that we get a connect between our wrists and our arms and our hips. If we don't get that connect, it's hard for us to transfer power from the hip into that kettlebell. So what we often see is as the kettlebell comes back down, we bend the hips too early and the kettlebell is chasing the hips. Great. So those are the 2 common faults we see with kettlebell swings. Thank you very much.